Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ship It and Sip It. I hope you had a fantastic Friday and a wonderful week. I'm here this week with Helen Sushkevich. She is a designer at Paralect, and this week is awesome because she has started together with the Venture Studio team on the first sprint of the year for two ideas, two teams, two startups in the making. They're exploring the problem and they're finding out whether these solutions fit and whether there's a market for them. So can you tell me a little bit about the process since you're part of it?
Okay.
What's sort of the rough idea that you're working on, and what's the team look like?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're working right now on an app which will be concentrated on music people who are into it, who love doing this in their free time or even as a professional. And that will be the app that will connect, well, basically as we are thinking about right now. It can change in the end, but now it is music app for musicians to connect them with their fans. That's how the fans can give them any donation or support in some forms. That's how, it will be like a community of musicians and their fans. Right now, I participate as a team member who does some marketing research, who analyzes competitors, analyzes their features, and points out interesting things to discuss. And in the end of our all work, that will be about 2 weeks or more, of course, I will be participating as a designer, and I will make a landing page for the whole app, and we'll be testing how our idea performs. Is it okay, is it not okay, and then analyze how is it suitable for us to make this app or not.
Super, and this is sort of an evolution of the product lab that happened last year. We did a couple sprints there, but this is a way for people inside of Paralect to submit an idea and see if it really has legs, which I think is really fun for our team. It gives us, as a whole company, it gives us an opportunity to sort of foster entrepreneurs, give people the chance to have a taste of being a founder, being on a very early stage team without taking the risk of leaving the warm company that we are and striking off on their own. And just briefly, the second startup, the second idea that's in the Venture Studio right now is
about connecting friends from different parts of the world.
Yes. It's basically like a travel sync platform. I really like the idea.
Actually, I haven't dived deeper into the idea, but from the top view, it looks like this. It looks like, I don't know, a social network or a Tinder or something for friends that you are separated with.
I was thinking it was more of a planning platform. I've got a friend in Kiev and another friend coming from America, and we all want to meet somewhere in Europe. How can we get there at the same time, stay at the same place, and do it kind of as cheaply as possible?
Maybe. We will look.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Keep a lookout. We'll launch the websites either at the end of this week, early next week. So keep an eye out for those. I look forward to helping write on them, and look forward to working with you in terms of the design and the content design.
Great.
All right. In other news, we are continuing to collaborate with DIP, our partners in all things Web3 and the creator economy. There's a lot of news on this front. A lot of things are in the works. If you check out Igor's latest video on our YouTube channel, you can hear some of them. They want to put they want to put dachas on the blockchain. They want to do a lot of other cool things. And there's also another accelerator coming together with DIP. And the final piece of news, we have a new blog post about a student who became a teacher at Startup Summer, Agatha Rudko. That is live at blog.paralect.com, so go check it out. There's a cool video and a lot of interesting things about her story. So, that's the news. Let's get on to what you've been up to lately, which is very cool. The first thing I want to ask you about is the design project that you did for a design course. You posted it on Behance. It's very beautiful. You were working with new tools, and you were inspired by DALL-E, right?
Yeah.
For that. So we'll put a link to it so everybody can check it out. What was the course about, and what did you learn there?
The main course was created by an art director of a Russian art studio named Pinkman, and the reason why I participated in this course is the skills and expertise of this art director, Misha Rozov, because he has a great experience, great way of becoming a designer from just a freelancer, then being a designer in a studio, and then setting up his own studio. And he knows really a lot of information. He has a great expertise, and I've seen a lot of works of his students on Behance. And when I was scrolling the Behance, I just fell in love with each of it, and I was impressed how it is possible to do this during just 1 month and a half. And it was super not understandable for me, because the works was really done on such a great level. And I've seen the works that people started with when they just were designers before, and what they've done after this course, and I wanted also to do such a thing.
Right.
That's why the main idea for me was to create works that I will be proud of in the end of this course. So the main program that we were working with was Cinemas 4D. It is main program for working with 3D objects in design sphere, for making also videos and animations. For me, that was a program that was super difficult to understand, because you're opening an interface and you're just looking at every button, you're looking at every tiny text and do not understand where to click. So yeah, I learned this program. I learned also the technique of working with references and how to look at them, because there is, maybe such a phrase that everything that could be created is already created. And we were learning how to get over this and how to look on what is created from a different angle. And I super liked it. And the works which I created, I'm really proud of. I've reached my goal, and I was super satisfied with the result.
Super. And you talked about taking references. So who were some of your inspirations for the course, and what do you love about their work? And maybe, I guess, if people go and look at what you've made, how will they see their influence on what you've created?
You mean the Salvador Dali?
Yeah.
This was a task when we needed to create a 3D poster, and we were willing to choose any person for this who inspires us a lot in a different way. It can be your child dream, it can be some realistic person who inspires you somehow. And I've chosen Salvador Dali, as he has a great skills, a great impression, great imagination for me. As I was a student in the university, I visited his art exhibition in Minsk, and I was impressed with how detailed he made his artworks, because he put so much sense behind each of his characters, like elephants or clocks or something. And you understand that, for example, there is sticks in sticks in his drawings and pictures. And for example, this stick shows support. That's why for me it was interesting to know that each of his details has so much sense. That's why I've chosen him for being my let's say person who I inspired with for this poster.
Great. And in terms of what you learned there, you talked about learning to use Cinema 4D, becoming more adept at that. Is that something that you would like to use going forward with your design in Paralect and with our marketing team?
I've already discussed it with my head, and she said, yeah, this is great. We will think about how we can implement it in our work. But basically, we have a different style in our branding. That's why it's kind of difficult to implement it like, yeah, today we are going to use only 3D objects.
Yeah.
No, of course it's difficult, and I will, for example, use it very in a little volumes, in a little things, maybe like making some newsletter, and I will create some particular image for this, and I will create, for example, a SMM post just once, and I will see how it goes. Is it suitable? Is it okay? Or if it's not, and with geometry it looks not really good.
Yeah, well, I think if I remember correctly, in our older blog posts, Sergey was using a lot of 3D imagery first, so maybe you could bring that back a little bit.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, keep an eye on that. We might see some more 3D come back in to our design. And I guess now would be a good time to say that we are on the search for another designer to join Helen on our marketing design team. Can you tell us a little bit about that position, what type of designer we're looking for, and why we're the best marketing team to be a designer on?
Amazing. What we're looking for? We're looking for some person who is not only professional in like design from a technique side. It should be a person who understands how design works. That design is not only a picture, it is what stands behind it and what sense you put in this. For example, if you're using bright colors, it is for this target audience, and if you're using like black colors or blue colors, it is for more conservative audience. That's why hard skills, soft skills, some basic understanding like of psychology, as I said, would be great. And why we are cool guys, because we have amazing team. When you can practice a lot of your inner skills, you can implement any idea you want in your life. You can say about this idea, and this idea would be supported. And also as a designer, I can say that for me it is super cool to be in both in two teams at the same time, because I am a part of a marketing team, and as well as I am part of the design team, where we have our inner workshops, where we have our presentation. We are also going to visit design conference this year. We are planning to win an award. That's why we have great plans for this year, and I'm super excited to implement them. As well as the marketing team this year, yeah, it's cool. You can implement your ideas and can, I don't know, just enrich your skills in any way. Everyone is open and willing to help you and to chat with you.
Right, yeah, and the one thing that I would only add, I guess, is you can implement your idea, you can bring ideas to the table, and together as a team we could implement them in a way that you'd never thought of before. Yeah. So it can come out as a landing page or infographic or video.
Or even real app or website.
Video, anything, yeah. So we've got a multifaceted approach to idea delivery, and it's very fun. All right, advertisement's over. Go check out join.paralect.com and apply for the open designer position there if you are interested in joining us and joining Helen on our team. Now, I want to sort of circle back to what you're working on with the Venture Studio, because you're going to eventually build a landing page for this idea if it's validated that there's a market for it and there's demand for it. So you're going to probably use Tilda in this case, or Webflow?
Yeah, we're planning to use Tilda.
Okay. And you helped me to write a great blog post a while ago, a couple weeks ago, about Tilda versus Webflow versus another no-code solution with SuperSo and Notion, specifically for building landing pages for marketing websites for new startups. So can you fill us in a little bit on sort of your approach to Tilda or Webflow, or is there anything else in that that you didn't put into the article? Why do you love working with them?
As I basically said, it has like each of these platforms has their minuses and their pluses. Let's say like this. For example, in Webflow you can implement more unique, I would say, animations or some blocks or something. In Tilda, you basically can't do this. They have like a number of templates that you can use, and that's it. If you want something extraordinary, you need to code as well as in Tilda. That's why these platforms in general are framed with what they have. If you want more, you need to code. That's why it is super connected.
Mm-hmm. And just for someone who is a designer maybe and they've never dabbled in no-code website building, what tips would you give them to get started?
Mm-hmm. First of all, I've learned Tilda and Webflow just by YouTube. That's why you don't need any like courses and pay like tons of money for nothing. You just need to open your website, you watch videos, and give yourself some time to learn the stuff, and also practice a lot, because the real job is not what you're watching in the video, because video shows some tips of how to do this, and in real work you can bump into something that is not showed in the video. You need to Google it, you need to watch it again. That's why it's a good idea to make some tips and notes, and you won't be losing lots of time watching video again and again. That's why, yeah, YouTube, tips and practice, and it'll be a perfect combination.
Right on. Yes, definitely dive into that if you want to learn. As far as I know, Webflow, on their own Webflow University,
Mm-hmm.
they're very comprehensive resources.
As well as Tilda, they have their own, as I remember, YouTube channel or something. They have super easily explained videos of how to do this, how to do that, as well as Webflow. But Webflow has their university on their website. That's why I like, for example, if comparing Tilda and Webflow, I like Webflow in this case more, because it's super structured. It has like basic level, animation level, or I don't know, CMS level or something, and you can learn it one by one, and it puts in your mind more accurate, I would say, than in Tilda. Because in Tilda you just need to Google like this.
Right. All right, and since we're on the topic of websites and design, I wanted to ask you, you've joined us last summer, right?
Yeah.
So you joined us after Paralect had been an established brand for over 10 years, with its own look, its own design assets, its own sort of brand visual appeal. What did you think of the brand from a visual perspective when you joined the company, and how have you sort of worked together with the other designers to evolve the Paralect brand, keep it fresh, and keep it interesting?
As a designer, I love, from my eyes perspective, I love beauty. And when I was applying for the vacancy, the first thing I've seen is the web page of vacancy of marketing designer, and I like it really. It was great from my design perspective. That's why I pointed like, they gave you time to make a web page look nice. That's why, I think should about this company. And when I started working with Paralect Design in general, I got the guidelines, and I've seen what is already done in the website. And I have kind of confused, because in guidelines all looks so old-fashioned, all looks so unfresh, and what I see in the website looks completely different, and what they have in common is only colors and typography. That's why I understood that using guidelines to form an SMM in general, it would be a wrong decision, and I decided to orient on our website and how it looks right now. I've chosen the geometrical and general style, and that we're using like people like drawn outlined, that we are using some geometrical shapes made out of something, and I thought it would be nice to use it. And also I wanted to give some space so it won't be too messy, and that's it. I've decided to use geometry, bright colors, and I think that I did a great job, and our SMM page, our Instagram looks nice, for example, for me. And I also get nice feedback from the other people that, yeah, it looks nicer than it was before you. That's why I'm happy.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if you want to see what she's talking about directly, check out our Instagram, scroll through. You can see the progress that our brand has made over time when it comes to design. And it's lovely, yes, thank you. I'd like to ask next about some tips you might have for founders who don't have such an established brand. A lot of times we work with founders and their startups don't even have a website yet, just like you guys are doing in the venture studio. So what are some of the things that you want to focus on first in order to get a good, uniform, interesting design? How do you discover what a brand should look like from nothing?
First of all, you need to set who is your target audience, and understand that, for example, if your target audience is kids, it would be one voice, one style, or it will be more color, like candy colors style. It would be more fun, it will be more childish. And if you're talking about people who are into business, it will be straight, it will be like blue or black, basically we use as colors. It won't be with tons of images or illustration, but okay, in illustration I'm mistaken, it can be used, yeah. But also you need to understand how it looks like, because illustration actually says very much information, because we see the brand from the design side, from how it looks like. So understand the target audience, their like psychology, how they think, how they look at you as a brand. And the second tip is not a tip. The second, I would say, puzzle that should go side by side is the voice, the text, how the brand talks to you, in which way, in like how he or she, I don't know if brands is she, talks with his audience. I mean, if we are like friendly, if we're like bros, it will be like, hey you man, let's make a business. We're super cool guys, no worries, we'll do it for you. And if you are taking, for example, like, I don't know, some like Google Sheets or something like this. I don't know, it's the only thing I remember right now. Google Sheets
are life.
Okay, Excel.
Right.
If Excel or Google would say like, hey bro, you'll be like, I'm doing large business with tons of money.
That's the funny thing.
We're not bros anymore.
I mean, Microsoft seems like such an old stodgy business, but they just bought this gaming company yesterday for Activision, right? For $70 billion. It's crazy. Anyway, other news. The one thing I wanted to ask you about that I didn't put on the list, and since we're talking about sort of brand appearance, I've seen this a lot where people take logos, specifically brand logos, and they compare what they used to be, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s to what they are now. And what seems to have happened is basically all the logos started to look the same, and almost everybody just said, screw our logo designer, let's just use Helvetica. So why do you think there's this sort of I don't know, it seems like vanilla, like everything is becoming like kind of boring?
You know, I've read the article concerning this. The interesting thing that was said, that's why we remember, for example, McDonald's, or why we remember Nike, or I don't know, Johnson's Baby or something like this. Because when this company started time ago, there was not so many brands, huge brands that will be remembered, that would have enough budget for an advertisement, that would have enough budget to show their companies that they're cool by us, and etc. That's why people do remember these brands really great. And as time goes, more brands are created, and the market is super full of different types of brands, and people started to just blind eyes on everything. And it doesn't matter for you, would it be the flower or would it be a rings or something. If it is not famous brand, you won't even recognize it. So it's more about budget and how you perform your company, how you show your company. The other thing that I wanted to point is that as time goes by, in the very beginning, the logos were complicated. They were complex, made of shades, made of characters, made of calligraphic letters.
Colorful, yeah.
Colorful. And now it's trendy to make minimalism style. For example, if you have noticed, as I remember, Burger King changed their logo not so far ago, a year ago. And they had more complex logo, and they shifted to a more minimalistic look style. And there are many brands do this because there is too much information, too much visual things that disturb us. These ads that we see constantly on web pages, ads from from billboards, from metro, and we see, and everybody consists us to pay something, to buy something. Right. That's why it's super difficult to stand out right now.
Interesting. All right, let's change topics a little bit from logos and brands to creativity. Because as a writer, sometimes I look at the blank page that I need to pour some interesting thoughts and ideas and things onto, and it's a real struggle for me. It happens to other writers. Does it happen to you as a designer? Do you ever just open a Figma file and think, what do I make?
For me, it works like this. Of course, I have such a situation, and they happen more often even than you can think. But in general, what helps me the most is to have a break. For example, to go somewhere outside, or just to drink a coffee, or what works for me the best, to watch such a series that is named Improvisacja on TNT channel, and just have a laugh, just somehow to make your mood better, and it switches your brain somehow, and you can get down to work with with more energy, I would say. And the other thing that helps me is that to look through Dribble or Bëhance or Instagram. I have a couple of profiles that I follow, and to find some inspiration from this. You never know where you will find inspiration. It can be just a typography, or just can be like similar, just a button, and you will see the color and yes, that's it, I need it, and everything then goes great.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never really considered looking at improvised comedy, but I guess that's one of the places where you just have to be creative immediately on stage. It's a very challenging situation, and those guys
do this in such an easy way, and you can understand how they can, how fast they can just think of it, create nothing, like create something out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm even afraid to do an episode of Ship It and Sip It live, let alone without a script and with ideas that are completely not my own. So hats off to those people that love improvised comedy. Would you ever like to try it someday?
Like to improvise in no, I think I wouldn't create something. I would just keep silent.
All right, we talked a little bit about brands. I just wanted to pick your brain and ask, what brands do you think really get design right? That can be either digital products or older legacy brands. I guess everybody's a digital brand these days, almost.
Nowadays, yeah, I think it's a great point to be a digital brand because we can buy everything from just our phone. That's why if you're an old brand that has only like shop outside, you won't be successful.
Right. So who gets it right in your opinion, and what do you love about them?
Number one definitely is Nike. All the stuff they're doing in United States, mostly, unfortunately, not in our country. How they, of course, as I said, how they talk with their audience, what they do, how they perform themselves. They perform as a super modern company who's oriented on younger people, and it works nice. Even the style of their photo that they are making, they're like how the models look like, the size of the model. What I like about Nike the most is they're super brave to do some crazy stuff, and it encourages, of course, these people who follow this brand. What I've also found out recently is that is an app that is named The Breakfast, and I also like their visual style. This app is oriented on meeting with creative people in different parts of the world, in particular cities, and they have places where they can meet. And I love the typography that they chosen. I love that they chosen the orange as their main brand style, because it shows this creativity. It shows the inner sense of how you understand this brand. If it would be black, it would be completely different.
Yeah. I've been following that. I discovered them a while ago, which it's a very small brand, but I hope to use the app soon here in Minsk. And what it reminded me of it has a very like New York feel, like New York Times or New Yorker magazine has a very similar visual design to that. So maybe they spent some time in New York, or they just read good literary magazines.
Maybe.
All right. Anybody else?
I think Airbnb also does great brand work, because they have also like thoroughly prepared pictures of each flat, and I know that they have filter for those people who want to advertise somehow their flat or room or something. If they have not appropriate pictures, they won't allow you to be on such a platform. That's why it's a great feature for me, because it creates the whole impression of the brand. When you look at a beautiful picture, you constantly associate with the brand it is. And also what I like is how clean the interface looks like. The app on the iPhone, the app in the website, it looks super understandable, super easy and convenient to use. And of course it has great UX, but it also is a part, in this case, it is a part of a brand. That's why, great job, Airbnb.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were hosts in Airbnb many years ago when we lived in Arizona, and we were one of the earliest and only hosts in the area that we lived in. But we had a nice little cabin in the woods. It was quite picturesque. But there weren't a lot of people on Airbnb at the time. This was 2013, 14. Still quite early days for them. So they really engaged with us because they saw that we were booked very often. We were close to the Grand Canyon. So a lot of Europeans came. Because my wife was from Europe, they sort of identified with our listing, and they liked having a European to stay with in America, because America can be a strange and funny place, right? But they reached out to us, and I think they even sent a photographer to our place and paid them a contract photographer to take better pictures for our listing, and we got to be involved in an early version of their experiences before that really took off. We were helping to sort of get people to the Grand Canyon, take them on hikes and things like that. So they were really engaged with their user community at that point. I think now it's a little bit too big for that. Maybe some super hosts, they still get involved with a little bit. But
It depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
I didn't have such an experience. We've booked some rooms when we were in Lviv or something, and our host even didn't participate in anyhow. You know, like a key is under carpet and goodbye.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, but their design is still beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, since it is still close to the beginning of the year, it's still January, we're still talking about goals and aspirations for this year ahead. What are some of yours that you would like to share? They can either be, related to Paralect design or your own design goals.
As I'm working not only as a graphic designer, I also have an experience in After Effects and animations. That's why I understand that I have not such a high skill level in this sphere. That's why I would choose to level up somehow my animation skills and to know something new in this sphere and to make better information more smooth, more interesting. And also what I want to learn next year would be, of course, Cinema 4D, also more practice in the sphere, learning some new tools and features and tiny things in this program, because I've learned it only by like 50% during this course. This way, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing your work and working with you to create more beautiful things for our company, for the people that follow us, for the founders that we work with, and for the whole world, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to hear more about our goals as a team for 2022, we've been releasing short videos from each team within Paralect, and you can catch them on our YouTube channel or our Instagram, wherever you follow us. All right, Helen, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and you do too. Ship it and sip it, everybody.
Goodbye.
All right, we're back for some bonus content. Helen didn't want to let me go without talking a little bit about bad design trends. So what do you got?
I have two things to discuss. The one trend I really hate, because when 3D just came to the design sphere, everybody started to do some ordinary stuff, and I hate like this plasticine look like hands or I don't know, or shapes or something. I don't know, it looks for me so silly, so uninteresting, and you see this from everywhere because there are a lot of templates and everybody templates. Plasticine.
Plasticine.
Yeah. You understand what we're talking about, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I have an idea in my mind. You're gonna have to send me a link, and I'll show the people what we're talking about.
Okay. Just because it is used everywhere. That's why, from design point, you just got tired of it, because you just see it everywhere. And the trend that is going back right now, but the previous year it was in the tops. It is as named glass morphism. It is when transparent thing has a blurry background, and in general it looks nice, but again, just because it was used everywhere, you just got tired of it, so please do not use it.
All right, you heard it here. Get rid of your plasticine and glass morphism, unless you can do it really well, but not too much. All right, thank you. Thank you, Helen. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.